everybody. Thank you for joining us this morning or this afternoon. We hope that you guys are ready for some knowledgeable information. We are going to be discussing the topic of software, technology, and integrations for briefing centers and specialized customer engagements. And we do have an outstanding group of industry leaders here today to share their knowledge on how they are building purpose-built systems, cutting-edge technology, and advanced integrations that can be utilized to achieve optimal efficiency and impact. So today I have Alex Matthews, my colleague, helping co-host this event. So I'm excited to have him here with us today. He's a valuable member of the Nexus leadership team, and he's been working in the EBC space for about 10 years, a little over 10 years. Alex, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself to the audience and letting them know a little bit about what you're doing.
Hey, everybody. So my name is Alex Matthews. I have been working in the tools, technology, automation space in the EBC world for just over 10 years now. And yeah, so this is a topic that's near and dear to my heart. And I love, learning more, seeing what people are interested in the future and how we can advance and improve the technologies that we're using now to make all of your jobs easier and more fun in the future. So happy to be here.
Thank you, Alex. I'd now like to introduce you to our panelists. So we have some special guests today. First up, we have Marcy Nelson. She serves as the director of the corporate briefing program at AT&T. Welcome, Marcy. If you wouldn't mind introducing yourself and giving us some information about your company and your program.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me today. As Alessandra said, I'm Marcy Nelson, and I'm the director for the AT&T Business Corporate Briefing Program. I'm also a member of the ABPM Advisory Board. And the mission of our briefing program is to inspire clients and to accelerate sales. Inspiring clients talks to the way that we design our centers and our storytelling experiences, also how we customize our agendas to help customers discover new solutions. Accelerating sales speaks to the business outcomes that we deliver, specifically focused on building and strengthening relationships, driving revenue, and ultimately providing a positive financial return for the business. Our flagship executive briefing center is located at our global headquarters in Dallas, Texas, and I hope many of you have had the opportunity to visit us at previous ABPM conferences. And we also continue to support virtual briefings. And I'm very excited to be joining this session today. It's great to be able to share our systems and integration strategy. And I look forward to listening and learning from everyone on the call today. So thanks again.
Thanks, Marcy. All right, next up we have Daniel Sherrill. He holds the position of Director of Customer Innovation Centers at HPE. Daniel, please greet our guests and let them know a little bit about you.
Yeah, hi everyone, great to be here. So Daniel Sherrill, I'm based out of Houston, Texas at our new global headquarters for HPE, and I love what we are able to do and bring experiences to life for our customers. Again, it's all about helping them understand our capabilities in a really tailored way that makes them feel special. So I lead our global team. We have 7 global centers that I'm responsible for, but mostly focused here at headquarters. But yeah, it's fun to be on this call. Excited to talk about all the fun new things that we're doing with innovation and some of our different partner of ecosystems. Glad to be on the call.
Thank you. Thanks, Daniel. And finally, please welcome Tiffany Kiernan. She's the briefing manager at Schneider Electric. Tiffany, if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about yourself, we'd love to hear.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me to be a part of this panel. I am so excited to be here today with all of you. In addition to sharing information about Schneider and our program and platforms, like Marcy and Dan said, I'm an avid learner, and I hope we have an extremely active chat so that you guys can share your best practices and insights for me to learn from you on what you're doing at your centers that's keeping you very successful. But a little bit of background on me. I am the briefing manager at Schneider Electric's premier executive briefing center globally. We do have a number of customer experience centers around the world, approximately 80 of them. We call them innovation hubs. But this site in St. Louis, where I am located, is the only one that is branded an executive briefing program. So like Marcy and Dan said, we follow world-class principles, and our mission is to promote the company brand and really have those deep dive partnership conversations with customers to understand what their challenges are, what their goals are, and then help them as a team to achieve their vision for the future, where they want to be. So because we are the only briefing program, my team does not have oversight on the entirety of the customer experience portfolio, but we are a consultant on processes and tools for the rest of the world within Schneider Electric because of the advanced program that we have. And we are working with them regularly to upgrade different sites to that world-class briefing level. So for me, I have a heavy background in sales and sales operations before I joined the briefing industry 6 years ago. And I have to tell you, I never knew what a briefing program was before my boss approached me. I didn't know that this was a position that was available, and I've never looked back. I am extremely passionate to improve the operations within our program, and that is why I'm so excited to talk to you about the topics today on technology and platforms.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Tiffany. We're excited to have you. Before we start, I did want to just kind of engage with the audience. We wanted to kind of kick off the webinar with some poll questions. So I'm going to go ahead and display them on here. Just kindly take a few moments to kind of share your responses. We're very curious to kind of learn the unique ways that our guests are creating engagement. So I'm going to go ahead and display this here, and then I'll go ahead and reveal the results after the polls are complete. So the first question, does your program use specialty software for briefing, scheduling, and management outside of your standard company's calendar offerings? So either yes or no. So it looks like so far 80% is yes. I'll give you guys another few seconds and then I'll go ahead and show this. Okay. So it looks like, let's see the share results. So it looks like 71% is yes and 29% is no. And then I'll go ahead and share one other question here. So what is the most valuable feature in your technology system ecosystem or integration? So is it scheduling and calendaring? Is it CRM integration, customer feedback, customer portal app, on-site digital experience, analytics and reporting, demo experiences? And if there's any others, feel free to add them in the chat box so we can know what you guys are doing. Get another 20.
Besides just being interesting, this is gold for the product team. So we appreciate your participation.
So right now it's about 15% at scheduling and calendaring, 31% with CRM integration. And then demo experiences is 36%. Let me go ahead and show these here. You guys can take a look here. So 29% with CRM, 7% with customer feedback, 14% with customer portal app, and then demo experiences would be the highest. Perfect. All right. Well, thank you guys for your responses. Our thought leaders will be providing valuable insights, and we encourage you guys to ask any questions that you guys might have along the way. So feel free to enter your questions in the Q&A feature at the bottom portion of the screen, and we will try to answer all the questions as they come. So that is enough for me. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Alex so we can start with the questions for our panelists.
All right, let's do it. And as Ali said, we have a phenomenal amount of knowledge and experience here on this call. So please jump in, ask questions, or share your own thoughts and experiences because we're all here to learn. So what we're going to do is we've got a series of questions that we're going to go through, and we're really focused on the technologies and what people use to support their programs from a technology standpoint. So the very first question, and we'll start with Daniel on this one, is what systems and applications are you using to run your program and facilitate customer experiences? So really, what is your technology ecosystem and stack that you use to support your program?
Yeah. So our company uses Salesforce, as our main CRM in the background of all of our sales engagements, all of our pipeline is all measured and tracked through Salesforce. So that was really important for us in selecting the different tools that we have today to make sure they're well integrated and can take advantage of the rich data that we can get from Salesforce. So our main backend right now is VisitOps. So we use VisitOps. That's how our sales teams engage with us and request an engagement and kick that whole process off with us. That's where our team uses to build agendas, build customization, create all the background and objectives that we're going to be sharing with different stakeholders. It's how we collect and all of our feedback is done through VisitOps. It's our primary database when we want to look at historical analytics and seeing different trends of what are the most hot topics right now across all of our centers. What trends are we seeing that people want to learn about? Customer feedback. What are we hearing there? And so lots of dashboards that we are building, custom dashboards within VisitOps that help us show back to our leadership the ROI. How are we moving the needle and the different opportunities that we're influencing? My favorite kind of ROI thing is how many new sales opportunities are being generated because of an engagement. And because of VisitOps, we were able to do really granular look at the impact of a single engagement and what that is, what doors it's opening within that account. And we can do a lot of this kind of cross analysis, which is super important to us. So we have lots of data, and VisitOps really helps us pull it all together in really clean dashboards that we can use internally, but also externally with stakeholders, with our leadership team. That's a big part of it. We're going through a transformation right now. So we're onboarding with Nexus to build us a new custom portal that will integrate both VisitOps and the Nexus platform. And that will be our new go forward strategy. We're really excited. It's coming online in like the next 30 days. We're going to go live with that. So I'm super excited. Before that, we were actually on a CX app, and we have migrated now over to the Nexus platform. And again, just giving a really tailored and customized experience. And it's interesting that, on the polling question right now, that demo experiences is one of the biggest factors. So I'll share a quick example of, I also am a huge advocate for demos experiences, one of the aspects that I lead for our organization. And so, we all, I know, struggled during COVID to figure out how do we engage with our customers and make it feel differentiated, and we couldn't physically bring our customers to our centers. So I worked with Kaon, it's another great partner of ours, and they built us a virtual center so that customers could feel like they were being transported into one of our beautiful global centers and have this interactive, immersive experience to learn about some of our different demos, our different customer stories. Like we have a full, just like walking around in one of our physical centers, right? You can kind of guide yourself around, come over to the command center, do a fully immersive software demo. If our customers are more interested in some of our industry solutions, or some of our data center solutions, again, putting things at their fingertips that they can explore. And now post-COVID, we still absolutely use this platform as a way, free engagement to get them, entice them, see what they can learn about. We use it during the engagement. This is now a physical digital experience within our centers on a digital touchscreen that people can interact with. And then post-engagement, we keep giving them access to this site where they can continue to learn and explore all those things. So this is a really powerful tool that was definitely worth the investment that we made. And we continue to make that investment and evolve it as an innovative way to bring experiences and demos to life. And we're excited with the Nexus platform that this will be embedded into that customer portal as one of the things that they can experience through the program.
Daniel,
questions?
Just a quick question on that. It looks like you have tons of content and demos almost embedded within this. Were these things that were all created just for this experience, or were you able to leverage some things that you already had on the file?
I would say, obviously when you go to some of this stuff, there's like videos and things like that. Those were all stuff that we got in from our different content teams, from the video stuff and white papers and things like that. But most of this was net new as far as the experiential stuff. So a lot of the digital stuff that we've created in here is all net new, that was custom built for this application.
Wow, that's great.
Sorry, someone's asking me a question. So yeah, a lot of this was very, very custom. Now, for some of these demos were from our main.com website, and we just packaged it in a more interactive way. So some of these demos we were taking advantage of what some of our different business units were building and incorporating it into here. The other big innovation tool that we use for our content management is called Scala. And again, Nexus has helped us a lot with our Scala CRM. And Scala is our kind of one single pane of glass to control all digital content across all of our global centers. So that from a single click of a button, I can push a new video asset or a new graphic to all centers at the same time. I know exactly what they're playing. I can also, as you all know, when your brand teams makes a new brand change and you can't use that graphic anymore, you can't use that logo anymore, I can also decommission with one click any aging assets, right, that we want to pull back in and no longer use. Or videos, that person left the company, we don't want to use his video anymore for that explainer video, right? I can pull that stuff back in. So Scala is another great tool that we use to manage all of our digital assets across all the sites. Yeah, so we're always on the look for new tools, but those are kind of the main things that we are using right now as far as our back end stuff.
That's great. Thanks, Daniel. Let's kick it over to Marcy. Do you want to take that same question? What's your technology ecosystem made up of, and what gets you through the day-to-day?
Our briefing program is supported by a fully integrated system to help us manage all aspects of the briefing program. And at the heart for us is Briefing Edge. And we've been a longstanding Briefing Edge user, and that serves as our database of record and really the hub for all of the integration. Account teams use Briefing Edge for scheduling, and we've customized the tool with scheduling rules, and that enables us to manage resources and only show availability based appropriately on the lead time, the group size, or the briefing type being requested. And we've also tailored the request form within Briefing Edge based on the visit type and the location. And then once the briefing is confirmed, we assign a briefing consultant who manages all of the planning within Briefing Edge, including creating the agenda and planning logistics. And then we have Briefing Edge integrated with other key tools that help us achieve significant efficiencies. Let me give you a couple of examples. First, Briefing Edge is linked with our room signage throughout the center. So on the day of the briefing, the agenda is displayed automatically outside the briefing rooms. Daniel talked about the Nexus customer portal, and Briefing Edge also helps us to build that Nexus customer portal, which is available to customers pre-briefing through post-briefing. And the portal includes briefing specific information like the customer agenda, the discussion leaders, the bios, feedback, which I'll talk about in a second, as well as other related content and information about the center and the surrounding area. So that's been a great tool, and all of the content can be uploaded real time. We've also integrated feedback into Briefing Edge. Following each briefing, we ask both customers and account teams to fill out immediate feedback surveys, and those surveys are automatically generated and customized by briefing based upon the agenda and the content in Briefing Edge. And results are captured via the customer portal, and then they're stored in Briefing Edge. And Briefing Edge has robust reporting capabilities that allows us to pull a host of customized reports. We can pull reports based on briefing. We could pull reports or an aggregated view of results based on a certain time period. We can pull reports on discussion leaders, whether it's a virtual or an on-site briefing, whether it's account team survey feedback or customer survey feedback. So we have a lot of intelligence, built in based on reporting capabilities. We also use briefing data and synthesize it with our sales data in Salesforce. And that helps us to measure the revenue influence. Specifically, we can look at the number of new sales opportunities open and closed and the revenue associated with those opportunities, as well as the total opportunity value. And I know Daniel talked about having access to this insight as well. It enables us to look at results at a specific customer level. We can look at it by sales segment. We can look at it by strategic product portfolio. So there's a lot of, great information we get there. But having this level of integration, it is a lot of efficiency. It creates significant time savings, and it helps to ensure a consistent customer experience and enables our briefing consultants to focus on content and execution rather than spending time on logistics.
That's great. Thanks, Marcy. And it sounds like there's some similar things between you and Daniel, a lot of things that are focused around automation and making things a lot easier and more streamlined. And then also the similar theme of connecting with the CRM so that all of that data is kind of tied together to across the whole environment. Wonderful. Tiffany, let's kick it over to you for the same question. Can you help us understand your technology ecosystem and what you use day to day?
Absolutely. And Dan and Marcy have made it very easy on me going through the features and the functionality and the way that they use their visit management platforms. Like Marcy, Schneider Electric, or at least the St. Louis site, is standardized on the Briefing Edge platform, which for our small team of 6 individuals that manage the entirety of the center schedule every day on site, it's the only way. It gives us the opportunity to optimize our processes, streamline data automation and population, like Marcy was saying, customizing and personalizing content across the screens for our logistics, printing out name badges, table tents to a particular template, agendas. Everything is done to a T based on all of the data that's stored and collected for every visit in that Briefing Edge tool. We couldn't operate as a world-class briefing center without Briefing Edge. And I want to share that 3 years ago, 2 to 3 years ago, wasn't it, Alex? The time frame, meshes together for me. We went through probably a 12 to 18-month process with the Briefing Edge team to work to get our Salesforce platform integrated with Briefing Edge, and also our certification with Schneider Digital. Our IT department is very, very difficult to work with. And after all of that time, our global team decided to go with a different solution for the Global Innovation Hub. But because of the complexity of St. Louis's program, we were grandfathered into keeping Briefing Edge, because I did a time study on the other platform, and we would have had to have hired 2 additional headcount on our team to manage our schedule in this other tool. And it wasn't the only one that we evaluated, but they chose to go with another platform. And fast forward 2 to 3 years, and right now we are going through the process of finalizing the plan and the paperwork to standardize all 80 customer experience locations on Briefing Edge, because the other hub managers that are working to develop world-class programs at their sites realize we cannot operate without a more comprehensive tool. So having something that can integrate with your existing systems and allow you to automate a lot more of the processes based on existing data, I think is critical to explore if you're running a briefing program. And outside of that tool, we do use some different types of applications to support the customer experience for our users, probably our top users, which are the salespeople that bring us the opportunity to meet with customers. And that is Viva Engage, formerly Yammer. We use that quite a bit to reach out to our sales teams, let them know what's going on in the center. We try and put something out every week to them. We let them know of events that are coming up that are available for them to invite their customers to. And we use it as a way to just constantly stay in front of them and promote the center and the briefing program and the benefits that it provides to them. And we integrate that into a SharePoint site, which is sales one-stop shop for all information about our briefing program, including all of the collateral that they could need to engage their customers in conversations, to get approval and sign off, to book a briefing and travel to one of our sites. We also, from a virtual perspective, don't have that really cool K-On tool, Dan, that you were sharing. I can't wait to talk more with you, maybe offline, about that at some point. That is wonderful. But we do have a virtual platform, which we call Innovation Experience Live, that we run off of Teams or WebEx, but we have a full production system where we can do newscast quality briefings through a camera crew and multiple different technologies to overlay different features and benefits to make a visually dynamic, engaging, immersive experience as close to being on site with us as possible.
That's awesome. You reminded me another tool we just started using as far as a communication tool, especially in the sales community, and making them aware of new things and new capabilities. That's worth going and looking at if you're interested. It's called OneMob. OneMob is a really cool interactive video tool that you can create these little short, 30-second, 2-minute video clips and share them with sales teams to give them quick updates on we do video testimonials. We have a really successful engagement and we want to capture a quick video with the sales team, like, hey, what made today so great? What was the feedback from the customer? We do a fun little video and then we can share that broadly with the sales community. So it's worth checking out. Check out OneMob. It's a fun tool.
Thank you.
That's a cool concept. Daniel, do you attach those into, tie that back into the engagement, into the briefing so that it's shared with everybody who is involved? Or how do you disperse those videos?
Yeah, I mean, you can create different distribution lists or custom distribution lists. Right now, it's kind of its own. It's not really connected to any of the rest of our tools. It's just a internal communication tool. But what's really fantastic about it is all the analytics that come with it. So if I send it to 500 salespeople, I know who clicked on it. I know if they watched the video, how long of the video did they watch? Did they click on any of the cool attachments that I gave them? So it's like we're seeing all these communications out to salespeople, and we know that their inboxes are so full, and it helps us get insight to are our messages getting through to them or not? And they can also, what's really cool for our engagement managers, if they send it themselves, they can include a thing like schedule time with me, and it clicks on that and it gives them their availability in their calendar, and they can on the spot schedule a planning call to talk about potential engagement, which is, again, we've only had this tool for a couple of months, but so far it's been fun to use.
That's cool. Well, thanks for sharing. That's a new one to me. And Tiffany, thank you so much for thank you so much for all that great information. And I think one point I just wanted to kind of reiterate that you had mentioned is the idea of, when you're adopting new tools, really evaluating and qualifying them and making sure that they're scalable. I mean, not every program has 80 locations that they're rolling things out to, but you guys started, with one flagship center in St. Louis, and then now have had to, branch that across the entire global program. So making sure that you have tools that can scale is super important. All right. So let's move on to our next topic here, which is, and Marcy, we'll start with you on this one. What are your favorite time-saving systems, features, processes that you would recommend for another program to do? So maybe going a little bit more into specifics of tools or processes that really help you streamline your operations.
Tiffany talked about the importance of a briefing management tool, and I really have to echo that sentiment. I think having that kind of tool that's integrated with your systems is really foundational to operational excellence. It not only drives efficiencies in your processes, like I talked about before, but what's really critical is it influences all the other aspects of your program. So for example, having a briefing management tool helps you to automate reporting, like I talked about earlier, which is critical for your performance measurement strategy. We all know that you need to be able to quantify your program's impact and contribution in order to ask for funding or request headcount. These metrics also serve as the basis for your value proposition, which you use to promote on your sales calls or on the internal websites or on these video snippets that we were just talking about. So any internal communications, these results are critical for your marketing efforts. The integration of the systems also facilitates and streamlines your ability to tailor your environment for a more customized experience. So here we're getting at customer experience. And Alessandra, I know you have a slide that you can pull up now, But this is an example of industry content that we play on digital signage throughout our executive briefing center. And the beauty of it is it's triggered by a tag and briefing edge. So we don't have to manually update it every day depending upon who's in the center. So, that's really a great way that we create a unique customer experience in our center. And then from a planning perspective, having all of this information in a centralized repository allows our concierge, our technology managers, our catering staff, all to have visibility and the ability to coordinate and orchestrate all of the activities going on in the center on a particular day. It's one thing to know what's happening in a particular room, but it's even more valuable to know everything that's going on in the center so you can really plan around that. So to me, that briefing management tool is really the essential first step to driving that efficiency across your program.
That's perfect. Thanks, Marcy. And kind of tied into that, the idea of making sure that your tool is optimized and set up to really capture exactly what you want, because we've talked about all of these integrations. And if you're not getting the data in the system that you want in the way that you need it, it's really hard to then drive these kinds of automations and integrations that you guys are doing really effectively. So I think everybody here is on this panel is doing a great job of making sure things are optimized and you're getting the data in the way that you want so that you can then disseminate it. All right, so let's kick it over to Tiffany. Tiffany, do you have any favorite time-saving systems, features, or processes that you would recommend to others?
Yeah, so echoing Marcy, hands down, it's the briefing management platform that is our top tool. One of my favorite features in there is that customer portal that is that first line of engagement that automates based on the planning information and insight information that you put in as an end-to-end visit information package for everyone that's going to be supporting that visit. We get a lot of feedback on that. Our sales teams love it, and so do our customers that do utilize it, because it becomes that one-stop shop for them for everything associated with their visit, including follow-up information. It's one of the top briefing complaints that people don't follow up with information that was requested and agreed upon to be sent as a part of a customer briefing. So we can work with our event execution team and all of the discussion leaders to make sure that that populates in there, and it gives us that post-engagement touch. And I would recommend for anyone, even if you create a homegrown version, to utilize that type of tool to make things easy for your customers and that experience. One thing that we do within Schneider, because we have such a complex organization, and I know I'm preaching to the choir to everyone on this call, but we have different divisions that have different sales force structures, that have different go-to-market strategies. They have different terminology and things that are important to them. Now, Dan did mention something earlier, and I am going to follow up with Briefing Edge on it, about customized dashboards within their visit management system. One thing that we're really proud of is working with data meshing tools and then Tableau. So Alteryx is data meshing, and then Tableau as a dashboard tool to make it user-friendly and easy to understand. Is we've merged a lot of that data together for ourselves and created customized dashboards for different leaders across our company to understand the impact and the ROI for our briefing center and all of the innovation hubs in a manner that's meaningful for them. It talks their organization's language. It talks to their key priorities and initiatives. And Ali, if you wanted to throw that slide up on the screen, that would be great. This is a global view, some different dashboards that we have available that are able to be manipulated to drill down into the data points that are preferred. But we also have site-specific dashboards that we use that provide different data points based on visits that came in to a particular location. What you don't see here is some of our dashboards that we use as a way to kind of nudge our sales teams and our leaders, like utilization reporting. It actually puts in, people can drill down per segment leader, and even the regional directors, and then see their team and the status of visits by their team, and they get logged in green, orange, yellow, and red. So when they pull things up, they can very quickly see which team members haven't utilized the briefing program in a certain amount of time, and they can talk with them on cadence calls. We build that into KPI reviews for our leaders, and we also have exception reporting, because we all know that bad information in equals bad reporting out. So if there are data points that are missing that hurt our ability to measure and tie back into performance reporting, CFO, our order management system, closed revenue, we actually put that on sales KPI dashboards and the utilization reporting so that leaders can see, all right, it says you've only visited this many times, but I know you visited more. You need to go in, you need to fix the data, and then we'll come back and we'll review this. So it kind of gives us that touch point to notice where there are issues and then work together with the sales teams to address them. I kind of like the term, how do you tell on someone without telling on someone? Those dashboards are a great way to do that.
That's great, Tiffany. And it's really interesting, those dashboards that you showed. It's actually something we're seeing more and more common across all programs, is having data. Obviously, you can run reports within your management tool, but having it kind of shared and integrated with Tableau or Power BI so that it can be merged in with the broader company data, and then also so that it's more visible and exposed to some key stakeholders. And just like you had mentioned, we have one program I won't name, but we work with closely, and they're feeding how many briefings has each sales VP supported this quarter, and it's their leaderboard. And you better believe it's helping to encourage those ones at the bottom to start doing a little bit more at the EBC. So it's really cool to see that impact.
Okay, Alex, so I'm going to follow up with you because that's exactly what I'm trying to solve for right now.
I got you, Daniel.
Yeah, because I mean, that's a great point, Tiffany. Like that, having that level of granularity, I don't have that today. I could do a lot of other stuff. I don't have that, and that's definitely a capability that we're looking at, because we know salespeople, we're very competitive, and we want to encourage that competitiveness, but also hold them accountable too, right? And saying, hey, you haven't brought a customer in 2 quarters. What's going on, right? So yeah, I would be keen to learn more from you.
Yeah, and it's actually something that we're in the process of implementing into our CRM integrations, is a salesperson leaderboard, so that when you go in and you're looking at, who's had activity, who's come into the EBC, and even if people have access to see this data, and usually sales leadership does, which salespeople have impacted the most revenue this quarter or year, which is a cool way to build a little friendly competition.
That's great.
Dan, you want to take it from here? And
yeah, sure.
Tips?
Yeah. Quickly on that kind of same vein, one thing I love that we're able to do with our tool today, from a discussion leader standpoint. So obviously our programs are highly dependent on having the right subject matter experts to come and meet with the customer. And for many of them, that's not their day job, right? They run different parts of the business and all that stuff. And so we're super grateful, and we have the pleasure of working with some of the best people in the company that come and engage with our customers in the center. And we want to, it's at the end of every quarter, and sometimes we do a big one at the end of the year. We're able to give them a scorecard of, hey, this is how many engagements you supported this year. This is how much pipeline you help influence by supporting these engagements. And so we share that with them, especially for their end of year review with their management, and say, hey, you've been spending a lot of time in those customer centers. What's going on with that? Like, yeah, actually, this is how much time I've spent in the centers. This is how many customers I presented to. This is how much opportunity I was able to help influence by me showing up there. And they love it. So us being able to do that and provide them with that level of detail on the impact that they're making for the company by engaging with us is really key. So that's a fun tool. Other processes, I guess, again, just echo both Tiffany and Marcy. It's all about helping to create templates and efficiencies, especially when you have a multi-center program, and giving your team the right tools to have the consistency of communication, and like again, templates for emails and communicating both externally with customers and making it feel tailored and consistent with our brand, as well as internal communications, and where we're reaching out, having all those templates, how we capture notes, how we input data, all that stuff templatized, while still giving some level of ability to customize, right? So you're not so locked into a template, that's still having fields in certain areas that you can personalize it and make it feel custom, but at least the standardization is there, is a huge part of it. One other, I think, unspoken hero that we kind of love or hate is, believe it or not, Microsoft Teams, right? So a pro tip I have for everybody, if you're not doing this already, for every engagement we do, we create a private Teams channel for the back end. So on the day of the engagement, if there's something going on, hey, the session's running long, or we have to push something around or whatever, you're quickly able to notify all the discussion leaders and everyone involved, all the stakeholders that are part of that day. It's all internal. You can say, hey, if you're taking notes in there, they're sharing ideas, especially when we're doing like big roundtable discussions and things like that. We found is super helpful. And then it's also historical. You can go back and look at all the notes, look at the chat history for that engagement. People are sharing files back and forth through it, documents. So we have a love-hate relationship with Microsoft Teams. I will admit that. But it does have some cool capabilities in that regard. And we set up those back-end channels of communication the day of that are really, really, really helpful to us.
I love that. A rare shout out to Microsoft Teams.
That is very interesting though, Dan. I actually am going to take that back to my team. I could see that being a valuable tool for us.
We use it, and it's really helpful to have that back channel of communication to everybody that's supporting the briefing.
Yeah.
That's great. And just to echo one thing that you had mentioned, Daniel, which I couldn't agree with more, is that idea of templatizing things, but still with the ability to then personalize them further. That's kind of the secret sauce, right? Of incredible time saving, but still being able to give that personal touch on top of that.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, great point. All right, so we're going to move on to our last topic here, and we'll start with Tiffany on this one. And this is, what I find to be the most interesting and exciting topic, which is talking about the future and where are things going. So the question here that I'll pose to Tiffany and the rest of our panelists is, what ideal system feature or integration automation do you see as something that could really help the industry in the next 2 to 3 years?
So interesting enough, with Dan's comment on using and Marcy's comments on using Teams as a back channel, it just came to me that would be a pretty neat feature to have in our briefing management system, because the team is already set up. So that could be a really interesting integration to be able to communicate and store all of those additional conversations and files that are being shared into that single pane of glass for that particular visit. So I'm taking that as a mental note.
That's taken down, Tiffany.
And so one of the things I think of when you say that is utilizing information that's already available publicly to automate insights, automate data population within the tools that we use. So I'm thinking of social media and public websites and looping into tools like LinkedIn and Twitter, company websites, shareholder and sustainability reports, et cetera, and kind of automating that data capture within the briefing management platform to give us that customized or content personalization and customization information that we need to really give the right customer experience. When I was thinking about this, and in some of the conversations that we have previously with Marcy and Dan, they are ahead of the curve. I'm very excited to be on the panel with them because I've already learned from them and from this team that you see on the screen. But AI, which in full transparency, I haven't tapped into yet as a tool for our platform. So I can see AI with those tools being a big win. And also with the Marketo system, our marketing team, when we were going through the review process for a visit management platform, was laser focused on making sure it integrated with Marketo because they house all of our visitor and customer insights within that tool. So after having some conversations, I went back to marketing and said, what are we doing from an AI perspective? Because I realized, even with the data we are capturing today, we as a briefing program feed all of their reporting, but we are not taking that information that they are gathering from Marketo and feeding it back into our briefing planning processes. So we are working right now to correct that. And from an AI perspective, Schneider Electric is pretty early in its journey. I think Marcy and Dan are going to share some advanced ideas on that front, but they reinforce that complexity that we talked about earlier requires a very mindful approach. So when you are generating content personalization, website personalization, and engagement, that you're making sure that you are giving the right content to the right audiences, because when you are supporting so many different personas, it can be very easy to make some mistakes and not always reach out to them with the right message. So once we have that in hand with the rollout of a CDP, a customer data platform ecosystem, Schneider Electric is going to join that AI world and really be using that for a lot of actionable insights.
That's great stuff, Tiffany. And I just wanted to touch on one of those points you made early on about using technologies and things that are available currently, you know, across the web and various applications, and trying to find those things that maybe people haven't tapped into for use in briefings and within the tools. And I literally just yesterday had a demo with a client that or a program that we're looking to integrate with, and they showed me how, you know, you can type in an email address. I can type in Tiffany's email address, and it just automatically fills in all the information that they have available on the where'd you go to college, what's your roles and responsibilities, pulls the bio, can pull pictures, and just fills it all out. And the power of that to really then understand who's coming in could be a true game changer. So we're excited to explore more in that area.
That's awesome.
All right. Daniel, we'll kick it over to you. So what ideal systems, features, integrations are you excited about that you think could maybe help change the industry in the coming years?
Yeah, I mean, it's the year of AI, as we all know. ChatGPT, as you all know, I mean, it's the buzzword, it's the big thing, but it's the thing that has brought AI to the forefront of everyday people, right? So that's no longer just some out there technology that's out in the future, it's today, right? And especially in the world of marketing, it's had a huge impact already by bringing it to within everything. Competition drives innovation, right? So now you're having all these companies, it's an arms race. It's a huge arms race, and we're in it as a technology company. We're a huge player in the world of AI. And so we're going to see an explosion, just absolute explosion of AI capabilities. I mean, I'm not joking, like every day there's just new AI capabilities. I mean, so I'm fortunate to work for a company that has their own AI practice and lots of data scientists. And we actually have a dedicated AI marketing team that does a lot of cool stuff with AI. So we're already starting to do some pilot programs where we're using AI to do things like analyze customer analytics to say what is their propensity to buy and what is their propensity when we should bring them into a CIC for an engagement based on all of our historical data, right? We've had this program for a very long time. We've got lots of good data, taking all that data and saying, okay, based on everything I see in this, we should reach out to XYZ customer at this time slot for this opportunity because the algorithm, that's what it's saying to do, right? So it's using that AI intelligence to give us those insights. So again,
you let us know what that recipe for success is when it spits out the final answer.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I'm excited about with our transformation into the Nexus customer portal is that, when we collect feedback now with the Nexus platform, one of the selling factors for me was that you guys already have built-in AI customer sentiment analysis, right? So customer sentiment analysis is a huge thing of just being able to mine all the feedback and all the verbiage and the scores and give you some insight to say, hey, when it comes to this topic or this engagement, this was the overall sentiment analysis. This is kind of, a quick summary and bring it in a more digestible way with an automated tool, right? So that I think doing much more of that, and I'm excited to see it in action. But I think that's going to be the wave of the future, right? So getting all that sentiment analysis, feedback analysis, customer insights, using AI for all of that. And then I think the next thing from an in-person experience that we're starting to explore is how do we use AI in our physical centers to understand things. We're already doing things like a heat map of our space and where are people spending time. Oh, more people are gathering around this demo or that demo. Just to put traffic around, because we do this already for a lot of clients in their retail spaces and other big spaces, warehouses and manufacturing. We do a lot of AI heat mapping that can give you trends of where people are spending time. So I think you're going to start seeing a big explosion of AI in the experience space, right? Of giving you insights and also level of customization, right? So facial recognition. Oh, hey, Alex, welcome back to Houston. And last time you were here, you saw this demo. We have something new to suggest to you. That all being that automated through an AI, right? So lots of cool stuff like that. That's I'm looking forward to see how all that develops.
That's some really interesting stuff, Daniel. And it's going to be exciting because these things are moving so quickly, right? Like the sentiment analysis that you mentioned right now, it's great because you can look down the line and quickly see, like, did any of our participants think negatively of their experience, and just really easily see, oh, this person had a negative, and dive into those details. But where it can go from here, and with how quickly the technology is advancing, where we'll be able to pull key themes out and maybe even automatically target actions that we need to take based on, what people have said. So really exciting to see where that's going to go. All right, Marcy, over to you. So what ideal features, integrations, automation do you think is going to, exciting things that are coming in the coming years in the industry?
I'm going to jump on the AI bandwagon because that's the first thing that came to my mind as well. At AT&T, we've used AI and machine learning for years in order to help us manage and keep our network more secure. But we're just scratching the surface for using AI tools in our briefing program. And I do think that these kind of tools will really benefit the briefing industry over the next few years. For example, how can it be used to build agendas or to customize content or to further automate some of our more manual process? We have an internal tool called Ask AT&T, and that's our internal version of ChatGPT. And we're just starting to experiment with that. And so far, we've used it to learn more about the company coming into a briefing or to get better understanding of the trends facing that customer's industry. We're starting to use it to help us identify potential agenda topics we might not have thought about, and also how to title our agenda topics so that they're more impactful to the customer that's coming in for the briefing. But as you were saying, Alex and Daniel, I think that it has potential to provide better business insight and intelligence as well. You just talked about the key themes coming out of the voice of the customer. How can we synthesize that and summarize it and be able to share that with leaders to inform our briefing strategy, or capture action items in minutes so that we can ensure follow-up with the account teams and the customer in an automated way. We did trial another AI tool for note-taking in minutes, and truthfully, that tool did not prove to be very helpful for us. So we're not there yet in that front, but we are very interested in the possibilities for the future here.
That's great. Yeah, it's going to be a wild ride and interesting to see where things go in the next couple of years. Well, with that, I'll kick it back to Allie to kind of wrap us up here. Or sorry, did we hit everybody? Perfect. All right, Allie, you want to wrap us up?
Yes, all right. So that does wrap up our webinar. Thank you, everybody. Tiffany, Marcy, Daniel, Alex, as always, we appreciate your time and your support in making UPLEVEL webinars an educational place for our community. So with that said, stay on the lookout for another one of our upcoming webinars. It's probably going to be in September. And we hope that you guys will join us and have a wonderful day.